today what I'm going to do is run through a data set we have around innovation, aka how many patents were filed in Australia. And we're going to see which we figure out what are the factors leading to the most innovative sectors. So first thing we're going to do is obviously upload our data set. Role, you can say I'm analyst. Industry, government. And problem, innovation. Now, the first thing that has to happen is it has to process the data that we've uploaded to it. This shouldn't take long, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, that kind of number. You'll get an email to the account that you logged into Berrijam with when it's ready to be reviewed. And Berrijam can first actually take a look at it to make sure it actually has usable data that we have the ability to do any AI against. Great. So I've clicked on my data set. Now you're going to see a little explanation point here. Don't worry about it. All it's letting you know is a couple of the columns, in this case only one, it's going to be skipped during the exploration because there's no real information that's helpful in it for our model. So which column contains your goal? Highly innovative. For highly innovative, we're looking at only in sectors that are in the top 20%. And what are the factors leading to that? So I'm going to click Explore. Now, this is going to take longer, probably 3 or 4 minutes, at the end of which you, again, will get an email from Berrijam at the email address that you logged in with. Now, if I click on it before that, it's going to say Exploration in Progress, which is just saying we're on it, we're processing it, give us a few minutes. So I grabbed my cup of tea and just got an email from Berrijam letting me know the data has been fully processed. That only took me about 4 minutes. So now I can go over to my Discovery tab here. And see what we got. So we're looking here is what are the factors leading to a highly innovative section of Australia? So one, new business entries per 110,000 residents was over 120. Remoteness is major cities of Australia, i.e. it's not remote at all. It's much more likely to be in the middle of a city, so think Sydney, Melbourne, Canberra, as opposed to being somewhere where Mad Max roams. And specifically names like Adelaide, Belkman Hills, etc. These are neighborhoods of major cities within Australia. Most likely know is they have a smaller number of businesses that have been created per 100,000 residences. And then there's other areas that they're going to list off that are less populated regions that are in much smaller, more sparsely populated regions of Australia. Now, as I go down, we can go deeper into each of these. One of the things that's coming up is name Chatsworth Lane Cove, which is just one specific area, is so much more likely to have it that actually the data set picked up on it. This is a highly, highly innovative area. And then when these things happen, the type of industries is also being added. And then latitude, i.e. North to south, where is it in the country? So most of the major cities in Australia are in the southern portion of it. So the north is just less innovative on average. Now, top industry by count. Professional and technical services, which makes sense. Areas that have more businesses like that are more likely to have more patents done. And then a couple other factors. Now, let's get into the thing that I also find always interesting when we run through these data sets. What's not relevant? What are the factors that one would assume is more likely and doesn't matter as much? So, number of research institutes doesn't matter as much. State, the total population of the area. Manufacturing, longitude, so this way around the country. Postgraduate degrees, you'd think that would be a factor, but apparently doesn't make a big determining factor into how the cities are going. And a whole bunch of other things. And now this is relevant because a lot of this information is not only being recorded and kept by the people tracking this, but they probably put a lot of energy into it to make sure this information that may or may not be relevant. But it turns out if this is the thing we're interested in, this information doesn't really matter. Now, as we scroll down, we can get a little bit deeper into each of these factors that really matters. And then, what are the factors leading to yeses and nos? And now we can go really deep into it. What are the major population centers? What are the areas that matter? What are the areas that don't? Etc. Now, come down to it. How good is our model at making these projections? This is the guessing model we're going to have. 40% accurate. That's basically if I'm just flipping a coin, what am I going to do? But if we go over to best explainable and not explainable, we're in the 80s. Now, explainable means that you can go into the data and show why this model works. The other one, I can't really give you an explanation for why the model works. We just know that it does in a more accurate system. Sometimes you really care, sometimes you don't. That's going to come down to the model you want to end up using. So that's it. In just a couple of minutes, I was able to give you some pretty deep analysis. Now, if I had to do this using traditional statistics, you would have to be using every pivot table you thought of in Excel. It would have taken you hours, and it would have been a whole lot of guesswork, hoping that eventually I found something that led to correlations for multiple factors. With Berrijam, I was able to do this entire process in under 10 minutes, and I could go to my boss right now and give them some pretty solid answers of the factors that the models are coming back and telling us matter and don't matter.